Hi everyone, this is Casey, and welcome to House Lorebridge. Today, I would like to discuss a theory from A Song of Ice and Fire. As we all know, the HBO series Game of Thrones is over, but according to George R.R. Martin, there are still 2 more books set to come out that will complete his A Song of Ice and Fire series. The series' popularity has caused the internet to explode with theories about all of our favorite characters, ranging from their fates to their identities. For example, there is one theory out there about Tyrion Lannister not really being Tywin's son, but rather being the son of the Mad King Aerys and Joanna Lannister. But what if we're looking at the wrong offspring? What if it's Cersei and Jaime who are the offspring of the Mad King and Joanna Lannister? First, let's take a look at the history of some of these characters. Joanna Lannister started her time in King's Landing as a lady-in-waiting to Rhaella Targaryen, who was the Mad King's sister and would later become his wife. Joanna was rumored to have been the Mad King's paramour before she was married to Tywin Lannister. Now, whether or not this is true, accounts differ. We do know, however, that the Mad King was infatuated with Joanna Lannister, and was even reported to have acted inappropriately during the wedding ceremony after her wedding to Tywin Lannister. Now, after she was married to Tywin Lannister, she was dismissed from court by Queen Rhaella in about 263 AC. Queen Rhaella was known to dismiss ladies who had caught King Aerys' interest. Now, it's important to note here that King Aerys and Rhaella did not have a happy marriage. It was very loveless, and there was quite a bit of rumored infidelity, especially on his part. Now, over the years, King Aerys' behavior, both his own ignorance and his treatment of Joanna, caused Tywin to attempt to resign as Hand of the King on more than one occasion. So, as we can see, there were a lot of tensions and intrigue surrounding the Lannisters and Targaryens at this point. After her dismissal by Queen Rhaella, we are told that Joanna seldom visited King's Landing, before the birth of twins Cersei and Jaime in 266 AC. So an encounter with the Mad King that could have led to a pregnancy isn't completely outside of the realm of possibility. So now let's look at the details from the books that could potentially point to Cersei and Jaime not really being Lannisters. First, let's look at Cersei. Number 1. She has frequent thoughts of burning with an obsession with wildfire. She feels alive when they're burning the Tower of the Hand with wildfire after Tywin's death and Tommen's wedding to Margaery Tyrell, and Jaime thinks that she seems aroused by this. He also describes her temper as being all wildfire. Number 2, we see Cersei becoming sexually manipulative and violent. We see her sleeping with members of the Kingsguard to get what she wants, and also becoming sexually violent toward her friend Tyanna Merryweather. We'll note here that King Aerys was also known to be sexually manipulative and was often described as being sexually violent toward Queen Rhaella. Number 3, Cersei seems to have a thing for doling out severe punishments. We see her giving servants and women who have displeased her to Qyburn for his experiments, and she frequently thinks about ripping out the tongues of people who say something that she doesn't like. The Mad King famously ripped out the tongue of Sir Ilyn Payne when Sir Ilyn was overheard saying that Tywin Lannister was the true ruler of the Seven Kingdoms. Number 4. Cersei Lannister seems to have a very high opinion of herself and thinks that she is very intelligent and a quite capable ruler, when in fact the opposite is really the case. Number 5. Cersei also snaps during the Walk of Atonement. Now, the Mad King also has a mental snap during the Defiance of Duskendale, where he was kidnapped and threatened with death on multiple occasions. They are both also rescued by members of the Kingsguard after their ordeal. Cersei by Sir Robert Strong, and the Mad King by Barristan Selmy, also known as Barristan the Bold. Number 6. After her offer to be Hand of the King is rejected by both her brother Jaime and Sir Kevan Lannister, Cersei entertains the idea of making a Pyromancer the hand of the king. That King Aerys' last hand was a Pyromancer. And number 7. Both Cersei and the Mad King Aerys are described as being quick to anger, suspicious, and charming but not intelligent. Now, let's look at the other side of the coin and look at Jaime. Number 1. Jaime has lost his sword hand. Now, I think that this could be a punishment from the gods for his committing patricide. As we know from most of the religions that we have any information for in this series, the gods hate a kinslayer. In A Clash of Kings, a fool in Renly Baratheon's camp is imitating Jaime and mistakenly says, "I am the Kinslayer," and Renly corrects him by saying that it is Kingslayer and not Kinslayer. But I don't think this is really just a slip of the tongue. Number 2. When he is standing vigil in the Sept of Baelor after Tywin dies, he thinks about standing vigil for a father that I helped to slay. He does not refer to Tywin as my father in this passage. Number 3. Jaime acts like a Lannister, whereas Tyrion thinks like a Lannister. This is pointed out to him by his aunt, Tywin's sister, Jenna Lannister. She also says that once she said as much to Tywin, and he became so angry that he wouldn't speak to her for months afterward. Number 4. Jaime has a dream of his mother, Joanna Lannister. In this dream, she says that his father always wanted a son who was a knight and a daughter who was a queen. When Jaime points out to her that he is indeed a knight and Cersei is a queen, she begins to cry and walks away from him. Now, I think this is more than just an ordinary dream. Even Jaime thinks that this dream is odd, because normally in his dream he has 2 hands, but in this particular dream he is still missing his sword hand. Number 5. In Jaime's chapters, his thoughts frequently come back to Targaryens, but with the exception of the Mad King, he doesn't usually think of them as being anything monstrous. In fact, his chapters usually seem kind of sad whenever he thinks about the Targaryens. Number 6. Whenever Jaime is thinking about Cersei, he particularly thinks of her golden hair. Now in the show, we are told that Targaryens only have silver hair, but in the book canon, Targaryens can have gold, silver, or a combination of the 2 colors of hair. We'll note here that King Aerys had both gold and silver hair. And number 7. After learning that the rumors of her infidelities and many affairs are true, Jaime thinks that Cersei is as false as fool's gold. This could be a quite clever phrase if this theory turns out to be true. That would make both Jaime and Cersei fool's gold, rather than true Lannisters who are known as the Golden Lions. I think it is interesting that neither Cersei or Jaime are bothered by their incestuous relationship, despite both their faith and their mother telling them that it was wrong. Their mother caught them when they were children, and after her death, they continued on with their activities. Also, there is a saying that when a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin. This is usually referring to whether or not the Targaryen will be sane or insane, but in Jaime and Cersei's case, I think it is pretty interesting that since they are twins, they are mirror images of each other. One is male, one is female, and also Jaime seems to show more compassion and caring as the series goes on, whereas Cersei seems to become even more paranoid and cruel. Of course, we'll have to wait and see how the remaining books turn out, but I think there's a pretty compelling argument for Jaime and Cersei to be Targaryen bastards and not really be Lannisters. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know whether or not you agree or disagree with this theory and any other thoughts you may have. See you next time.